The Hypixel Skyblock economy is broken, but thankfully there are ways to exploit this to make millions and even billions of coins. These money-making methods will not only make you rich, but also fix the Skyblock economy. Don't believe me? How about I show you this first money-making method? The bank is a place where you can store coins and earn interest off them, but there's something very important that the bank is actually missing. Let's start off with this formula. It's the compound interest formula where you take the current amount of money you have, aka the principal, multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate written as a decimal, divided by the number of compounding periods, all to the power of the length of time for the interest multiplied by the number of compounding periods. For example, the 2% interest rate for the first 10 million coins in the bank, you just divide 2 by 100 to get 0.02. That is divided by the compounding frequency, which is 4 times every Skyblock year. Then we take it to the power of the compounding frequency, which is 4, multiplied by the number of years, which we'll just say is 1 Skyblock year. So every Skyblock year, or every 5 days and 4 hours, for the first 10 mil in the bank, you'll earn 201,505.01 coins. This is a good way to make money by basically doing nothing, but even with large amounts of money, you don't make crazy profits because the more money you have, the less interest you actually get. But I found a way to fix this. You see, the Skyblock Bank is actually missing a crucial part about how most real banks make a lot of money. It's not financially sustainable to just keep giving people money for free. You see, one of the ways that banks make a ton of money is offering very large loans for houses, cars, and other expensive stuff, and charging interest rates with long-term payback plans so the interest can accrue over time. And they make a lot of money while doing this. But banks aren't the only place to take out loans. You see, what if players could offer private loans? So I've established my own in-game company to offer private loans to players, the Secret Coin Allotment Money Lender. My plan is to be a loan shark that will offer large sums of money for players that want to buy expensive items like Hyperions, Terminators, a blue chest plate, whatever. I don't really care what they buy. Where I make my money is by charging high interest rates, having a long payment period, and having people make smaller payments so that I keep getting more and more compound interest for a longer period of time. That's not bad, but what if we can make it even better? I can also increase the number of compounding periods, but we quickly run into a problem. Let's take our example from before and keep increasing our compounding periods to 10, 100, a million. You'd expect the money to grow exponentially, but it doesn't. We actually hit an upper limit for the theoretical maximum percentage increase in our money known as E. E is the irrational number for maximum interest that you can receive. So we charge exorbitant rates, make tons of money off interest, and make billions. But then we run into a problem. What if people take out the loan but refuse to pay it back in full? Well, you see, there are no legal agreements in Skyblock. In fact, there are very few ways to actually interact with other players. So I can't mug them for all their money. We can't even make them go sleeping with the fishies. But there's actually something that usually happens in real life when people can't pay back their loans. Usually they offer something expensive as collateral where if they don't pay back the loan, then the lender doesn't lose the money when the loan isn't paid back because they can just repossess or take back the item. So an expensive item that people usually offer up is like a house, and then if they don't pay back the loan, then they get their house taken away from them. And I figured it out. What if, when they accept the loan, they have to install a ratting virus that they can't remove from their computer and that steals their account information and changes their password so that we have complete access to their account? This way, they can still play regularly, but if they don't pay us back, then we just hop on their account and steal all their stuff. It's perfect. This doesn't just work for private lenders. We can also implement a loan system to the bank in the base game of Skyblock. You see, we can have an option where Skyblock players can take out loans and the payments are taken out of their bank and purse over time. If the player is too poor to afford the loan and misses too many payments, the admins can just foreclose their island. When they try to warp to their island, they just can't. Their minions no longer collect resources, they can't access any of the chests or other items on their islands, and by far the worst thing that could happen to any player, the Great Spook Tree will stop producing fruit. I think that this is a great way for the admins to decrease the amount of coins in the economy and really teach people a lesson about the importance of money and being careful when taking out loans to make sure that you can afford it. This next strategy is actually about capturing a gap in the market to gain extreme levels of profit. You see, the current Skyblock mods have a huge problem. Not all of the mods are available for 1.21.5. And all of the mods for 1.8.9, you need to download so many different mods to actually have everything you want. To solve this problem, what we're actually going to do is learn coding and modding. I've got a little experience myself, but there's also a useful little tool we can use called artificial intelligence. Then, we're going to make a Skyblock mod that includes every single useful feature all bundled into one. And we'll have separate versions for 1.8.9 and 1.21.5. But most mods miss a very important feature that will make this method really profitable. And this small section of code we're going to include has some really awesome technologies. The way that this technology will work is it will encrypt your Microsoft account and passwords so that nobody else can hack into it. However, as the mod developer, I will of course store all this information on my end in a very private and secure place. Now, one of the features of this mod is a really useful cleaning feature. It will essentially track old items that you don't use anymore and clean up your inventory, ender chests, backpack, sacks, accessory bag, pets, island chests, and a bunch more stuff and other areas that you store items that you just don't use anymore. I'll use all of the passwords that I've safely stored to log into your accounts, obviously after tracking all of the times that you guys will be offline so you won't even notice, and clean these items off your profiles and give them to my own. The key with this method is to be very subtle with the valuable items that players won't even notice that they're missing. I mean, when was the last time you actually went through your accessory bag, pets menu, or all the items on your entire profile to make sure they're all there? Exactly. If I can be very subtle with this, then no one is ever going to know and people will still keep downloading my very useful mod. And if you subscribe, then I will make sure to clean the old items off your profile much more often. It's a win-win. For me, because I win twice. Let me introduce you to one more financial strategy that we can take from the real world. And it's all based off of the hard work of a man who made millions, Charles Ponzi. So what does this strategy entail? Well, you see, I've got some really great money-making methods that gain up to 400% on my original investments. Now, because I'm so good at making money, I'll let you, the viewer, invest in my company. If you give me 100 million coins, I will return double that amount in just 90 days. Now, if I only give some of you double the money, but only pay others smaller amounts, then I am keeping the guise of my very legitimate business. Now, what I do is I grow a much larger company claiming these large return on investments. Secretly, what I'm doing is I'm just putting the money into my bank account and using the money I get from new people joining to just pay back very few of the people that invested way before. This way, I make billions and don't even need to maintain a legitimate business. Now, where Charles Ponzi went wrong is that he got caught, was sentenced to prison, and lost all of his money. But thankfully, there's no legal system and no prison in Skyblock. Well, except for the Rift. So as long as I stay in the overworld, I have nothing to worry about. I'm safe and can keep exploiting this scheme. I mean, legitimate business strategy. You might be wondering if me making a video publicly admitting to fraud in all of these methods is a bad idea, because then no one will invest in them. Well, you see, I'm just going to edit all those parts out later, and surely I'll remember to do that when I'm finished the whole process. So I was inspired to make this video by Get to Work and the Doinkler portfolio because the grind set and the new voicemails just have so many fun, business, illegitimate methods that are described, and it's just hilarious. And I thought I could do something very similar for Skyblock. And I will be doing all of these methods and definitely not going to jail like Chaz or Richard Bankman. Because I'm very legit and I would never have any issues with anyone discovering my very legit business strategies. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which hopefully includes some real money making methods. Alright, peace out.